Hello everyone and welcome back to Renowned Explorers International Society Emperor's Challenge. We're getting ready for our third expedition, and our all-female team here of Yvonne, Min-jeong, and Hatices is going decently well. The amount of tokens and stuff we're getting is a little lower than I'd like, which is unfortunate. And Rivalo is actually above us in points, which is definitely not a good sign. So we're going to have to do better. Party-wise, we have our little bureaucrat, Min-jeong, who's very much starstruck by our large bureaucrat. Probably shouldn't call Yvonne large. That's probably an insult. The bureaucrat. I don't know. What's a good alternative to little in this case that won't come across as unintentionally insulting? Is there one? You probably can't apply a term, well, to anyone probably, but especially to women, that means large, or is a synonym of large, without it coming across as an insult. Yeah. I guess the up and coming is thick. I've heard that around. But I don't think that applies to Yvonne. Maybe it does. I don't know. She's got some hips. Okay, anyway, moving right along. Okay, I'm desperately hoping that my wife, who's studying in the other room, didn't hear any of that conversation. Alright, let's see here. We want to spend... Oh, we already spent all our stuff, that's right. We had some time at the end of last episode. And we can just go on our next expedition. Alright. Let's go somewhere like the Highlands. The Highlands is good for friendly, there's lots of status and gold, and a Beguiler and an engineer are both good there, which will be good for our crew. Alright, so I did have my interview this morning. That is done. I did not sleep at all last night. I was worried about it. That doesn't happen to me very often, but especially as I've gotten older, I've actually found it more likely for me to not sleep well because I'm worried about something. Which is interesting. I would have hoped that I would have calmed down as I got older, but it seems to have been the opposite. I never really had problems public speaking or doing any of that when I was young, and never really lost any sleep over it. And I seem to be having more and more trouble lately. Why that is? Maybe just the stakes are higher. That's probably true. After all, this public speaking, quote unquote, determines whether or not I have a job for the next year. And when I was younger, my public speaking basically determined whether or not I got a participation ribbon or a gold award ribbon. You got a ribbon either way. It was just you had a red little ribbon that was participant, or you got a gold ribbon that was first place, or a blue one that was second place, or something like that. At the time, those seemed like high stakes, but in retrospect, maybe they weren't the most important thing in the world. Just like the second most important thing. Right. All right, time for treasure. Let's go. People always ask me when I get out of an interview. Everyone, people I know, my parents, my wife, the cats in their own way. If meowing could be understood by humankind, they would probably be asking me as well. How did the interview go? And I'm going to be perfectly honest. I'm going to tell them the exact same thing. Tell you the exact same thing I tell them every time, which is I have no flippin' idea. Because of the politeness of our society, which is a good thing, don't get me wrong, it's a good thing, but because of the politeness of our society, we do not tend to discover in the first 5 minutes of an interview that the person will not fit with our company policies at all or our company vision, and kick them out on the street and tell them good luck at another opportunity. Instead, we very politely listen to them the whole time and ask them nice questions and escort them out and tell them that we will contact them if they are a good fit later on in the week. But that is in some ways unfortunate for telling how you did, because if that was common, if it was common for them to kick you out on the street if you weren't a good fit, then if that didn't happen to you, then you can pretty confidently say, hey, it went pretty well. On the other hand, it would be somewhat embarrassing if they did do it to you, obviously, but yeah, I don't know. Is epic embarrassment for a proportion of the population of interviewees worth being able for those who are not being embarrassed to tell whether they did well or not? That probably depends on what side you're on. And I don't know which side I'm on, so maybe we'll keep it the way it is. All right, Hattis is a good engineer. She can investigate this abandoned steam engine further. One resolve off if something goes wrong. We will hope it does not. Yeah, there we go. Not bad. Yeah, so my general response when someone asks me how an interview went is, well, they didn't throw me out on the sidewalk. They at least listened to me and were polite, which was kind of them. So a few more supplies take us back to full, and a trader. We don't have any gold, and we want to trade. We don't want to trade a renown for our supplies now because we only have 9. So, I guess we'll just go this way. Okay. Nothing interesting here, but Yvonne's campfire card has come into play again, and Balzahar Woodsworth of Explorer Now has come to see the crew at work. Yvonne and Min-jeong, her little minion, who previously shared the spotlight so gladly, are ready to answer him. Min-jeong, Yvonne has made it clear that she's an expert company. You must have had some thrilling adventures together. What did you enjoy doing most? Okay, so this is probably going to determine what kind of reward we get. And so we're going to do finding treasure in the hopes we get some treasure hunt or something. Alright, no problem. He has some more questions and then returns to New York. Let's see here. They like each other even more than they did before because they got to share an interview together. Very nice. And after this exploring is over, they'll be sure to spend some time together. Min-jeong knows a quiet place in South Korea where they can escape the spotlight. Okay, very sweet. Let's see what we get here. Oh, free Beguiler perk for Min-jeong. Okay, 10 spirit and 10% speech power. And then 10% speech power for Yvonne as well. A well-educated child. Yep, little groupies there. Nice, okay. That will benefit us. 53 speech right now on Yvonne, and 52 on Min-jeong. Poor Hattis sitting down here at 35. All right, let's move along. Maybe try this technique challenge. Bandits. Some highwaymen are counting their loot, boasting about how they stole it all. We could try to steal some of it. If we fail, it's only -5 grit. That's not too bad. I think I will take that risk. Hattis sneaks into the camp unnoticed and grabs as many valuables as possible. The spoils are worth quite a few pounds. Okay, 4 collect. Not bad. So yeah, anyway, so I didn't sleep very well last night at all. I am looking forward to going to bed tonight and making up for 2 days of being awake. Hopefully I sound okay for having been awake for almost, well, not 48 hours. Probably closer to 38 or 40 hours. The crew finds an old yet strong-looking villager sitting outside a lone house. He says to you, good evening, lads. Good evening. That's what it is. These here highlands are full of physical challenges. Allow me to share these specialized techniques I use to thrive here. We could give someone some grit. Hattis is at 33 already, which is pretty good. Or some armor. Maybe I'll just give Min-jeong some armor. Well, you know what? Never mind, because we're going to fight this final confrontation with that the Abyss, and the Abyss only pretty much uses speech attacks, unless we do something really wrong. So the armor is not going to help us very much. Let's give someone some grit instead. And let's give it to, I guess, Yvonne. Yeah, Yvonne, sure. She's technically our strongest attacker right now. Keeping her alive would be good for us. And we do have an epic encounter here, although I think this is the epic encounter that doesn't appear unless you have groups of sheep following you around, which we don't at the moment. I don't know. Let's go check it out. Yes. Okay, so this shrine only has something interesting here, only has an epic encounter here, if we've fulfilled some other requirements first, and we haven't. There's our campfire. Let's see what we got here. Okay, right. We didn't get rid of any of our cards last time. We played one of them and kept the other 3. I do want to keep holding on to Tech Experiment for better levels of Engineer. I'm still not convinced that Merchant Family is the best choice, but I probably am going to play it here. Yeah, I am going to play it here. And teaches one crew member how to make a fortune. Okay, who are we going to teach? Oh, you know what? Let's teach Min-jeong. She's learning a lot on this. The crew finds Hattis reading a small book, The Rise of the Barons. Presumably, this book on making money is a big hit among the nouveau riche. It's not a beginner's book either, full of advanced financial topics. Hattis, why are you reading that book? She's in investment banking. In fact, her merchant mother owns a fortune and gave her a small starting loan of 1 million Ottoman lira at the age of 14 to start her own investments. Now she's filthy rich. Don't even think about asking for a sponsorship for the expeditions. It's way too risky. Not a good sign when your investment banker thinks your own expedition is too risky to invest in. And Min-jeong will ask for her financial guidance. More knowledge in economics in the crew can only be a good thing. How will Min-jeong use this knowledge? Probably to benefit South Korea, I'd imagine. Since that's where she's from. And she's a daughter of a distinguished bureaucrat. She probably does want to know a little bit about banking. Probably good. It's good for anyone to know a little bit about economics. My dad actually started his own small business, and several years ago sold it. He did very well for himself. But part of the reason he did well is because he taught himself good finances. And I think a lot of people make themselves or break themselves on whether or not they are good with money, right? And unfortunately, it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If your parents are not good at money, chances are you didn't learn to be money, and you can just pass it down generation after generation until someone breaks that cycle. Fortunately, my dad's father was very, very smart with his money, and he sort of got it from him, and then I sort of got it from my dad. We have some friends tagging along here. We're going to have to persuade them to go away. Unfortunately, we're going to have to do it deviously to keep our points up on Rival Oak, because we are falling behind rather quickly. Unfortunately for my wife, she grew up in a family that never really learned good finances. They just weren't in the position to do so, and because of that, she was sort of in the position where she didn't learn good finances growing up either. Fortunately, she was aware that that was a problem that she was having, and she was able to basically intentionally... Okay, this is okay for Yvonne because she has a second attack on her Sadden now, so this will finish him off. She knew she had a deficit there, and so she was able to seek out good guidance and sort of overcome that. But until someone in a family line does that, it can be very, very hard to break out of the bad habits, and it's really unfortunate. I am going to break, or I'm going to not break, I'm going to buff up Hattis here. Hopefully she can take out one of these guys in one attack now with that extra speech. Nope, never mind, not even close. We could probably attack them to do it, but I really am not. Yeah, oh, she can't anyway, never mind. They have a lot of armor, that's why. Okay. Never mind then, we will just give it minus 25% speech, so we take a little bit less damage next turn. Ooh, yeah, that actually did enough to take out a resolve. That's very unfortunate. Probably, I was really hoping for a dodge there. 25% chance, probably shouldn't have been banking on it, but it would have been very nice. We'll just finish off these two very easily now with our actual strong attackers. Sorry, Hattis. Hattis needs some help in the speech department. Like, I trained to use a bow and arrow. Hello. I'm supposed to be bow and arrow primary, insults secondary. Insults are good when you're at range with a bow and arrow. Going up in melee with just her insults is not going well for her. You convince the Highlanders that the explorer life might be a little too tough for them. They promise to help you by telling others of your prowess. A sensible decision of them. Most unexpected. That's kind of mean. Like, it's unexpected to expect a sensible decision there. Alright, Min-jeong has leveled up, finally. Gain resistance to saddened attacks, or gain resistance to excited attacks. Well, probably saddened. I guess. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't really know what the best choice is here, honestly. I don't know what we're going to run into more of. But, okay, we'll do that. We'll try to keep... I'll try to remember to keep track and see if we run into more saddened or excited on this trip. And so I know for the future. The crew finds a flock of sheep that seem to have lost its herder. They look very bummed out, and we can comfort them because we are an excellent beguiler. We can also forcibly get their wool now while they're weak. We'll not do that. Yvonne does a little dance and sings a song to the sheep, who are immediately captivated. The sheep have elected Yvonne as their new herder. I also feel sorry for Hattis because everyone's sort of following Yvonne around. Min-jeong likes Yvonne. all these sheep like Yvonne. Hatisse is our leader. Darn you. Like, Hatisse should be getting some respect, and she's really not. Yeah, poor Hatisse. You have bullies all over the world. These two Highlanders have grown fond of annoying you. When they kick away a rock min-jeong wanted to investigate, you are left no choice but to put them in their place. I understand the pain there. I am a geologist. There are many, many rocks worth investigating that normal people would scoff at. But, yeah, poor min-jeong. Okay. This will finish off another Rank of Divas champion, which will get us a little closer to Rival O again, and hopefully get us back on track. Efficient hit 3 targets with a single area of effective ability. There's only 3 targets here, right? Yes. And we cannot hit all 3 of them with a piercing shot. Not only are they too far away, but they're not lined up. So, you know what? Let's try for that extra point. That could be important. Let's back up here. And we don't want to buff up anyone with Yvonne because she has Impress, which will mean that whoever she buffs, quote unquote, will actually take more speech damage, which we don't want. So instead, we will let's see, we'll buff up Hatisse to Excited, and then we'll buff up Yvonne with Confident, I guess. I mean, if nothing else, it will make it harder for her to go into a saddened or terrified mood if they use a devious attack on her. So there is a benefit there, even though she's not going to use the attack buff. I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but I have messed with my sound just a little bit again. I know I can't keep my hands off it. I'm always thinking, oh, there could be a better way. There could be, there could be a slightly more optimal sound or something, and because of that, I keep tweaking it. All right, we're gonna actually leave this because again, I can't get a good AOE, and I really, really would like to. But I will sadden this guy just to get him low at least. And hopefully we can tank a couple shots. That didn't work out for us last time, but we'll give it another try. Alright, nice. They are in a good AoE now. min-jeong's new AoE that she just picked up from her level will come in handy here, and it is a powerful one to boot. Tearjerker. Range of 2 tiles. It is a circular AoE, and it does more damage if one of the targets is saddened, which we just did. So I'm going to move Yvonne out of the way here, bring up min-jeong, and you know what? Just to throw a cherry on top, this also does more damage. Oh, one of the members is actually immune. Huh. I don't know if this will count for efficient then. Hit 3 targets. We're technically hitting him. Okay, we're going to do some science. Does this count? We are hitting him. It says in Faltering Spirit and 0 damage. We did hit him. It does count. Very good. Okay, that's good to know. I am glad to know it. Glad to learn it. And we'll finish him off with an easy one attack here. Alright, so that didn't cost us anything, and we got a extra point for it. We'll finish off our Devious Champion for 3 points there. So anyway, all I did for the sound is slightly increase the gain on it, basically make my voice a little bit louder overall. The reason I did this is because I have found that I have been having to project quite a bit, which I normally do anyway. That's sort of my default, which is why I left the sound kind of low to begin with, because I do tend to project. But I was having to project a little overly much to the extent that my voice was having problems continuously. So hopefully upping that gain a little bit means that I can talk a little bit quieter, and hopefully also not disturb my wife in the other room if she is sleeping or studying, or both, or sleeping while claiming to be studying, if you know what I mean. All right, let's face the Abyss. Again, we didn't get to do much. We haven't gotten our research trees filled out, so we have very few supplies, and this low amount of supplies mean we don't get to explore very much, which means we get very, very few tokens. Not going well for us. All right, we're going to try to talk our way into the Abbey, and Yvonne will do a great job at that. With a high-pitched, pity-inducing voice, Yvonne manages to catch the Abbess off guard. Yvonne's plea that you're really good people seems to work. But min-jeong looks way too shady and has to drink this holy water. It's enchanted to make people lose attack, so you have been warned. Now, typically, she wants the person to drink the holy water who has the highest attack in the party. But that doesn't seem to be true here. Hatisse has a much higher attack. than Min-jeong. I wonder if it's the person with the highest attack who's not the leader or something? Very interesting. I don't know. I thought I had that figured out, but apparently not. Okay, Min-jeong will drink the water, no problem. She's been saving it for approximately 89 years, or exactly 89 years in this case. And we want the relic in order to beat the smug Ravelo, and she's not going to like that. The wrath of God will be kindled against us, but we're going to argue that this is actually what God wants, and this will make him very pleased. All right. And here we are. Let's see. I do tend to like this combat because all the nuns tend to be very clustered up for the first round, which usually makes it easy to get rid of a bunch of them with an AoE. However, in this case, a little bit problematic. I'm going to bring Hattis back here. If I do that, let's see. I'm going to check my damage here. If I'm going to use a aggressive attack to start with, I want to make sure I can take out two nuns with devious attacks to get myself back into the devious moods, and it looks like I can. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. We do have Inconvincible here, 15 or less speech damage for a single ability. Our best chance of getting that, we'll have to check and see. Now, right now it's going to look terrible because we have minus 25 speech defense, but our best bet for that is going to be Min-jeong. She has the best speech defense out of our group. Okay, so we're going to get Yvonne here and use Yvonne to just take out one of these in the back line, I guess. Is that what I want to do here? I do have group insult, which is pretty strong. Let me check Min-jeong's range here. She can hit them all, but she will not do enough damage coupled with group insult to finish them off. Now, her cute stare is very powerful. Yes, it is. Holy crap. I'm always surprised how much damage cute stare does. It's pretty insane. I should probably take Min-jeong on a friendly crew at some point. I've never done that. But she seems like she'd be amazing at it. The problem with doing this is that in order to go from aggressive to friendly, we need 5 pips. This will give us 3 or 4. I can't remember how the math works. I think it is 3 it will give us. Which means you need to get 2 more with Yvonne. Yvonne take out one of these guys with a friendly attack? Yes. Okay, so that should be fine. Alright. We will shift into a friendly mood, which will give us a buff to their devious attacks. And then we will switch back to devious next time. It did give us 3. Okay. And switch back to devious next time. And hopefully end up the encounter that way. This will also make it more likely for us to get Inconvincible because we will get the buff here, the 25 speech defense, for being friendly instead of deep. Right there, that should do it. 11 damage. Yep, there's our point. Excellent. Still haven't quite caught up to Ravelo, but we're making progress, or at least not losing ground. Oh, while we're here, might as well talk about the channel a little bit. The channel is doing, decently well. It's been pretty steady. I'm getting about very consistent numbers of views every day, which is fine. Obviously, I would like to see some growth, but for now, I am content to have it be steady, and I will continue to try things to make the channel more appealing to people. If you have any ideas on that, let me know. I am more than open to any suggestions that you guys have. But in the meantime, I think the next thing that we're going to do is replace the Kakos fishing. It's been a lot of fun recording that while I have been doing it, but we're getting to the point where it's really not getting any attention. There's a couple of you that are very regularly watching it, and I mean by a couple, I mean literally a couple. There's like 2 of you that are regularly watching it, and I do appreciate that. Don't get me wrong. That's great, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you've learned something about a game that hopefully you guys will enjoy very much if you decide to get it, or that you enjoyed watching if you not. But it's about time to move on, I think. And the next project I have in mind is the Long Dark. So I have played the Long Dark pretty consistently since it first came out on early access and really enjoyed it, but it's finally coming out for real. The single player campaign was just released. They fixed most of the bugs, not all the bugs. They fixed most of the bugs, and they have just wiped the save files for the first time to get ready for full release. So everyone's on the same foot. Not that it matters, it's not a multiplayer game or anything. Everyone is on the same footing right now, and I'm very excited. The one problem I have had with The Long Dark, for those of you who are not familiar with it, it is a survival exploration game set in winter in Canada. In sort of a post-apocalyptic, but like minor apocalypse. Like not a huge like nuclear apocalypse, just all your radio communication is down apocalypse. And you have to survive. You have to survive through wild animal attacks. You have to survive finding enough food, and you can raid cabins and stuff like that are now deserted. The main problem that The Long Dark has always had for me is that it's simply not difficult enough once you get a foothold. Once you have gotten a stockpile of food, there's really no reason to go anywhere else. You can just sort of stay in the same area and hunt your critters and stockpile your food, and you can survive for a very, very long time that way. We do get the treasure from the nun, or from the abbess, I should say. However, it is cursed, so that is going to be a problem. Columba's staff. +3 campaign for yourself, Beguiler. That's pretty good. I think I will take that. And Hattis really believes that it is cursed, which is not good. So she's going to get a small debuff because of that. There it is. And we'll look at that in a second. And go to our next expedition. -5 speech defense. So anyway, but because the single player is now out, the single player actually gives you a reason to move around. It gives you goals, and you have to solve them. And several of the different scenarios give you very wildly different goals. One of them that I was experimenting with earlier wants you to stay for 3 nights in all the locations on the world map. And there's quite a few of them. So that really makes you move around a lot and does up the tension quite a bit. Because if you're inside, you're very safe. It's when you go outside that all the danger is. There's another one where you're being hunted by a bear, and you have to get to the only weapon on the map before the bear catches you. Basically running from spot to spot and sleeping as little as possible to make sure he doesn't catch up. And that is definitely a interesting scenario. So I'm very excited to try those again. And try the new single-player missions that I have not experienced yet. Also, the world is beautiful. Very, very nice-looking game. Highly recommend it if you like exploration titles, especially with a lot of tension to them. And so I'm thinking about trying that on the channel. Rivalo, by the way, gets some points for orphanages, and we will agree to not take 3-star expeditions. So I think that's going to be the next thing that we start to upload. That just came out yesterday, I believe, or the day before, the new update to Long Dark. And so I want to start uploading that and working on it while it is fresh. So hopefully that sounds good to you guys. Let me know what you think of that, if you guys have played it before and have an idea of what you'd like to see. Or if you've never played it and would like me to spend some time introducing the game before I get into the hardcore scenarios. Let me know what you think there. Actually, probably by the time you see this video, I will have recorded the first episode. So instead, I will throw up on Twitter a quick thing about whether you would like to see a full tutorial episode or whether you'd like me to dive into a scenario. And hopefully some of you are watching that and will be able to chime in there. If you missed out on this poll, or if it's a couple of days later and the poll is still up, feel free to add your vote to it. If I get enough votes to swing one way or another, and then as more votes come in, it seems to be shifting, then I will change my strategy and to fit the channel. So yeah, let me know. Participate in that. I will appreciate it. I assume I can figure out how to do a poll on Twitter. Done it, but I'm going to make the bold assumption that I can figure it out. Alright, let's take a new equipment shop. I like the Sydney equipment shop. There's some very powerful items in it. I think I'm going to take that. Okay. And it is about 30 minutes into this episode, so I think we will end it there. We'll do the overworld map next time. Once again, have almost no research. So we'll see how this goes. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please put a like on the video. If you want to see more like this in the future, or if you're interested in seeing The Long Dark when it comes out, please subscribe to the channel. And do check me out on Twitter if you'd like to participate in some of the community polls, or if you'd just like to send a message to me, let me know how I'm doing, or give me some constructive feedback or criticism. I would very much like to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.